Welcome back to Everyday Race. I got the Prius in the garage. It got much cooler, so I started driving with the window down. And guess what happened? I started hearing this funky noise that I couldn't hear with the window up since it was 90, 100 degrees for a while. And let me show you exactly what that noise sounds like. Pretty annoying, don't you think? So I did the next best thing. The noise was coming from this general area. So obviously I put the jack under the Prius and jacked it up, took the wheel off to see maybe something was loose. I didn't see nothing loose, but here's what I saw. Woof. Not supposed to look like that. What I saw is a strut that had some fluid that was supposed to be inside the strut. Now it's outside the strut. Since it cooled off, it's perfect weather to get the car ready for the winter. I've decided to get new struts for my Prius. So first I've decided to save some money and hit up my local salvage yard just to see if I could find some good used struts. And I ran into this amazing Prius that was just, I'm speechless. The paint job was something that I've only seen on Ford Rangers before, but never on a Prius. So unfortunately, struts on this car were rusty, and there was no way for me to test them because the car was off the ground. So I've decided to go another route. So I've decided to go on rockauto.com, and I've decided to skip the economy brands and go for the original ride quality. And the first brand that jumped at me was named Top Notch. I mean, how could you not pick a brand named Top Notch, especially with this pricing? So the struts were $52.79 a piece, and shipping via UPS was $12.99 plus taxes. The total for two struts delivered to my door was $123.58, and that's a pretty good deal. That is, if the struts are going to be decent quality. So 3 days later, they showed up at my door. So let's take a look at them. The rear, oh wow, they actually packed it pretty good. Good job, Rock Auto. You have yet to disappoint me. Unlike Amazon. Top notch. What drives you? OEM technology, OEM performance, OEM ride quality. We'll find out for that. Restore your new car ride. That's exactly what I want. Nobody has more loaded strut coverage than Top Notch. That's what I call them, loaded struts as well. So let's open them up and see what they look like. Ooh, fresh. Fresh. Look at these babies. Come out. All right. Nothing damaged. This is a Top Notch S0449L, so it would be a driver's side and left side. Everything looks good. Now let's open this one. Here we go. Top Notch S0449R 23240. They didn't mess it up. They sent me a left side and the right side. Everything looks good. No damage. Let's see, there's some writing on the spring. TH0789 MM23240. Pretty good. Before installing new struts, I've decided to do some measuring. First, I wanted to measure the height of the car empty, then the height of the car with some weight in the hatch, and last I wanted to do bounce test. That way I would have something to compare to the car with the new struts. All right, passenger side rear on the Prius, unloaded, and it's 25.5 inches. Here we go. Nothing on the back. All right. Prius, driver side. Unloaded old struts. 25 inches. Booyah. Next. Scale. 0. I got my old Ford battery. And that's 41.8 pounds. I got a Ford cylinder head. That's 59.6 pounds. So roughly, we're looking at like 100 pounds of weight. Next, I'm gonna put this cylinder head in the Prius. Then we get the battery going in the Prius. Let's see what happens. Rear passenger side, old struts. 100 pounds of weight. We got 25 inches on the dot. So that's half an inch difference. All right. Driver side, Toyota, old strut, 100 pounds. 24.5 inches. So that's another half inch. All right, so that tells us if we put 100 pounds in the back of the Prius and the suspension of the car lowered by half an inch, that means if we put 200 pounds, the car will lower by about an inch. So that tells us that the wheel rate of the Prius with the old struts is 200 pounds per inch. That means if we put 400 pounds in there, the car will be lower by 2 inches in the rear. And I'm not sure when it's going to max out, but I wanted to know the wheel rate before I change to a new struts. All right, so next I'm going to do the bounce test with the old struts. Not too bad. All right, next it's time to remove the struts. So that requires removal of majority of the interior pieces located in the hatch of the Prius to gain the access to the upper bolts of the struts. All right, so I got the strut removed from the right side of the car. You can see that. There she is. So we're going to have to do some comparison. This is the new one, Top Notch, and this is the OEM. It's got the same amount of coils on the spring, but the thickness looks different. So this is the Toyota. Looks to be 12.5 millimeters. This is top notch, 11.34. So the coil is thinner, so that might give us a better ride. Next, I looked at the height of the strut, and the newer one is slightly bit longer, maybe by 3-4 millimeters, which is a very small amount. And third is I removed the strut that wasn't making noise. I quickly discovered what was making the noise on the other side. That's the noise. So this boot that's supposed to be here came loose, and I think that's what's making noise on the other strut. I guess this one wasn't, this one's on the other side that I can't hear. So this is definitely, I think, what was making noise. So let me go ahead and install this one back on the car, remove the other one, and we'll see what that one looks like. Now here we go. That's the driver's side, and I must have been blind, because how could you not see that? That's exactly the noise that the car was making. Exactly the noise. All right, the new struts are in. Let's do the bounce test. Wow. Wow. Way better. Way better. So next, let's measure the height. Empty. All right, passenger side. (26 inches. All right, driver side, empty, 25.5 inches. Let's put 100 pounds in there. So first the battery. And second, the cylinder head. All right, passenger side. New struts with the 100 pounds. We're looking at 25.5. Next we got driver side. We got 25 inches. All right, so let's get to the conclusion. What do I think about these top-notch struts? Well, it's been about a week, and I put about 100 miles on the car, and the ride quality is just like OEM. It feels very stable, and it's a lot less clunky than it was before. So I'm very happy with how they behave. Second, most of the time when I buy aftermarket parts, they usually require some kind of modification. Until you got to make the holes bigger, or they were drilled in the wrong spot. This was not the case. It was a straight up installation. Everything was in the right places, and it was just like installing OEM struts. So I am very happy with the purchase, and yeah, that's about it. I have no complaints. The price was great. Install was simple, and the ride quality is great. So it's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching my video, and have a good day.